Hola a todos, bienvenidos a un nuevo vídeo de Vampyr, mi nombre es Hatox. Y bueno, pues ya estamos de vuelta en casa después de la decepcionante misión del padre de Aubrey Reed, ¿vale? Un cachondo mental el tío, que nos ha regalado un reloj. Perfecto. Vamos a hablar con la madre y con el
Hello
otro.
again, Mother.
Jonathan.
A ver si nos dice algo. La madre está...
Goodbye, Mother.
Goodbyes.
La madre está ya más que...
Jonathan, my dear. Bring me my glasses.
Ahora voy. Búscala. Lo mismo, papá te ha dejado un puzzle. En fin. No sé si este dejará algo pendiente o no.
Yes?
Ah, interesante.
Avery, I finally deciphered my father's puzzle. Among other things, I found his watch. I'd really like you to have it.
I can't accept this gift, sir.
Yes, you can, Avery. You deserve it.
I thank you, sir. I'll keep it until the day I die.
Qué bonito. Pues ya está. Total. No es tan caro el reloj como para...
Goodbye.
Of course.
No me acuerdo cuánto me daban. No lo sé. Da igual. Pues ya está. No tiene más la misión, ¿eh? Ya está. Por lo menos hemos hecho feliz a este hombre. Un poco más. Y nada, creo... Está ya todo, creo que listo. Correcto. Bueno, listo. Nos falta visitar medio distrito, que es toda la parte de aquí. Y lo vamos a hacer ahora, antes de seguir con la campaña. ¿Vale? La putada es que tengo que pasar por aquí. Buenas tardes. No la puntería, compañero. Y ya está. Se me ha vuelto a olvidar, ¿veis? Sabía yo que sí, algo tenía que mirar. Me encanta que hagan esas cosas. Yo que poco le he quitado, por Dios. Hostia, ¿me dejas? ¿Me dejas que estoy matando a tu compañero? El tío, mira que no me dejaba. Maleducado, ¿eh? Y ya está. Pues eso, la verdad es que no lo he mirado, pero tal y como os comenté hace... No sé, bueno, no sé si lo comenté o lo dije en el vídeo que quedó sin audio. La verdad es que me va bastante bien, así como voy con las armas. Y meterme ahora con armas a dos manos, lo mismo, no es la mejor idea. ¿Vale? Pero bueno, vamos a ver. Esta es la iglesia, imagino que es la iglesia del párroco mío, ¿no? Bueno, párroco mío, del que se murió, vaya. Ya no es mío ni es de nadie. Pero bueno, vamos a explorar esta zona, porque no la conocemos. Ha cambiado la música y me gusta también mucho, la verdad. ¿Vale? Voy a morir. Vale. Vale, no voy a seguir por aquí porque está claro, está bastante claro que está relacionado con alguna misión. Porque si no, eso así de buenas a primeras no va a estar. Muy bien. Yo que sé, además, quién sabe, lo mismo en algún momento me dan algún arma a dos manos buena, ¿no? Interesante. Y no es... No, mira, un refugio, sí. Porque sí.
It's locked.
abierto. Vale. Interesante. ¿He estado aquí ya antes? Qué bueno. Muy bien. Vale, no hay mucho que podamos hacer ahora mismo, así que... Que se parece a muchas casas de las que están en ruina, vamos. Vale. Voy a ir por aquí por si... Me imagino que aquí ya viene, amigo. Quería ver si la puerta está de aquí, porque aquí hay una puerta. Se abre por este lado y tal. No es que vaya, no creo que sea un camino que vaya a usar mucho. Hostia, nivel 30. Vaya.
Step away, sir.
Mierda. Vale. Esta es la puerta. Vale, pues ya está. ¿Veis? Esta es una zona más regulera, así que podemos irnos perfectamente. No parece que haya mucho más por aquí. Lo que no me quiero acercar a esta gente que me reviente.
I'm safe here for a gentleman. Stop right now.
Me paro. Bueno, me voy.
Over there.
Vaya por
There's
eso.
one of them vermin.
Venga, venga, hombre. Hala, listo. No me ha dejado nada. ¿Será así eso? Este es el que más me preocupa, pero aquí vamos. Aquí cualquiera me... Bueno, también.
He's spotted. Watch out.
Coño. Que este me... Que este me revienta de una, tío.
It's done for him.
¡Oh! ¡Oh, hijo de puta! El carrito. Ha jodido, hijo de puta. Hasta luego, compañero. ¿Qué hay más? No. Ya está. Bueno, pues listo.
I cannot enter.
Puerta cerrada. No hay nada aquí, vamos. En esta zona. De momento. No hay nada. Un poco de fósforo blanco, no lo digo yo que no, ¿eh? Pero bueno. Pues nada, ahora sí. Vamos a explorar por aquí. No es que haya mucha gente, pero...
The Spanish flu is not the only hidden killer around here.
Vaya, otro listo.
Good evening, sir. May I ask you what you're doing here at this late hour?
I'm conducting an investigation about the epidemic in this part of town.
And who are you, sir?
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed from the Pembroke Hospital. May I ask who you are and why all the questions?
I'm Detective Inspector Charles Albright from Scotland Yard.
Anda.
And I don't find your answers convincing. What is a Pembroke doctor doing in the West End at this time of night?
I work for the Ascalon Club. Here is my permit to go freely about the
Ah,
city.
vale, es verdad,
Ascalon.
que me den un permiso.
You should have said so, sir. I must warn you, these streets are dangerous, and you'd better be careful.
Why are you investigating at night?
Criminals rarely act in daylight, you know. But since you are also a night worker, have you noticed anything strange which requires police attention?
¿Por dónde empiezo? Geoffrey McCullum. No, a este no lo voy a denunciar porque es el del... Está muerto y lo maté yo. Y es un vampiro y es del Club Ascalon. O sea, no.
I'd like to report a name, Inspector. Geoffrey McCullum. I'm afraid he's some sort of vigilante, trying to recruit an army of angry citizens.
Then I'll write the name down and transmit this intelligence to the appropriate office. Thank you, sir.
No sé quién es ahora mismo Geoffrey McCullum.
What can you tell me about this district?
I'm the one asking questions, especially when there's a killer on the loose.
What killer?
I'm not going to discuss that with the civilians, sir.
Haven't I told you about the investigation I'm conducting? Perhaps I could help you.
All right, without giving you too much information, I'll tell you this.
Estoy más duro, por Dios.
I'm convinced there is a homicidal maniac on the loose, using the epidemic to disguise his kills.
And what about the epidemic?
We both know the situation is critical, don't we, Doctor? Colleagues of mine die almost every day.
What are you really doing here?
I told you. I'm a detective inspector from Scotland Yard, investigating suspicious cases in the area.
Do you work alone?
Yes, the situation is difficult for the police. Many of us are sick, and since the summer strike, most men apply a work to rule on their patrols.
What about the situation in the East End? Why are there no police there to protect the civilians?
I know, it's a shame, but we just don't have enough men to cover the entire city.
Yo te he hablado de dos distritos, no de...
Tell me all you know about that homicidal maniac you're looking for.
I'm not even sure there is only one. The wounds are always the same, but the modus operandi varies. Sometimes violent and brutal,
No me lo digas.
sometimes
Dos
precise
marcas en
and
el cuello.
swift.
How could different killers inflict the same wounds?
That's my main problem. If my theory is correct, maybe we're facing a group of individuals sharing the same violent tendencies. Perhaps a sadist cult.
What are you investigating, exactly?
Well, my two missing persons cases have been solved. By you, it seems.
¿Ah?
Are you just that lucky?
Ah,
Or
lo
do you
de
know something
Emily y
I
Lois,
was lucky
supongo.
enough to find them both while conducting my investigation in this part of town.
Why do I still have the feeling that you're hiding something? What about the abductor? Was it the same person?
I don't think so. You had better interview
Ah,
Miss
Kimura,
Teasdale,
vale.
Mr. Kimura.
Pensaba que hablaba de Emily.
All I did was to lead them safely home.
En verdad no los acompañé.
What are you in?
Well,
I was
why do...
I don't. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Doc.
En verdad no los acompañé a su casa. De hecho, el que los salves y luego los dejes ahí es un poco un mes, pero bueno. Esto es una tienda. Entré, pero no... Tienda de Price.
I
Mira.
hope you can stay a little longer this time.
¿Me habla a mí? Es que, es verdad, vine aquí, pillé esto. Eso en... No sé si está... Creo que fue en el vídeo, de nuevo, uno de los vídeos que no se grabó. Vine aquí, pillé esto y me fui. me la has
Good
contado
evening,
bien.
Miss Price. How are you tonight?
Dr. Reed, I didn't know you had returned from the war. I had a new doctor when you left, but he's not as kind as you.
Hombre, por
Always
favor.
glad to see a former patient in good condition. It's been a long time.
Too long indeed. And as a token of my appreciation, I'll grant you the best price if you fancy buying anything from my humble shop.
Hombre, por favor.
May I look at your...
It's always a
A ver qué tenemos por aquí. Claro, lo que suele vender una tienda del West End. Remaches, tornillos, ergotamina, ¿vale? Codeína, Ikeica. Esto podría comprarlo, Tengo bastante dinero, tío. Con darle caña ahí. Y remaches, no, que son muy caros. Bueno, igual que esto. Chinina, nada, tío, pero lo que me hace falta de verdad no lo vende nadie.
Dr. Reed.
Good.
You know you...
What can you tell me about yourself, Miss Price?
I'm still managing my shop. The only difference is, since the quarantine, we're open at night. You, on the contrary, seem to have changed a lot.
What?
Really? Have I changed that much? It must have been the war and the night shifts since my return.
Don't get me wrong, Dr. Reed, you're still handsome.
Oye,
Just
señora.
maybe a little bit wiser, more serious. It suits you well.
Madre mía, esta quiere... Pero tema, vamos.
Tell me more about yourself. No new fiancé? I remember you were hoping to get remarried. I'm sure you must have a few suitors.
Oye,
Who would marry an old bat like myself with a grown daughter and a little business? As you know, I only fancy handsome men like
madre
yourself.
mía, esto ya no es soltar la caña, eso es ya tirarte, pero vamos.
Have you noticed anything in particular in this part of town recently?
Other than you coming back to cheer me up? Nothing at all, Dr. Reed.
Madre mía. Hagamos un trato.
Does your daughter still worry you, Miss Price? I remember you were often concerned about her health when she was younger.
Have you not seen Carol since you returned? She's almost a young woman now. But she'll always remain my sweet little baby.
So you're less afraid?
Some things never change. Carol is still too clumsy for her own good. Sometimes her innocence puts her in real danger.
Why would her innocence put her in danger?
She does not realize how
Caramelo de
cruel
los
life can be.
desconocidos.
Maybe I was a bad mother to protect her too much. My poor dear Carol.
Pero así que no veo un carajo. Voy a darle aquí a...
You have every reason to be cautious, Miss Price, especially in these difficult times.
Maybe you could talk with her, Dr. Reed.
Claro.
It would be nice to have a man here more often.
Oh,
We
oh.
would both feel safer.
Madre mía. Esta le va el pastel de carne. Eso. Te vas a tener que pelear con Lady Ashbury y compañera, o sea... Porque aquí todos quieren hincarme el diente.
May I look at...
It's always a...
Voy a comprar, que después me sobra el dinero, tío. Y no lo gasto.
Dr. Reed,
It's locked.
I am glad to see you again.
¿A que sí? Bueno, con permiso. ¿Y dónde se supone que está la hija? Que la tienen encerrada en el sótano. No es gracioso. Niños, no encerréis a vuestros hijos en el sótano. Ah, no, que está fuera. ¿O no? Ah, no, espera, por aquí llegué, ¿no? Sí, por aquí vine. ¿Dónde está? ¿Cómo llega hasta la hija? Por Dios, no me haga estas cosas, señora. Me ha dicho que vaya a hablar con ella y la tiene encerrada. O sea, señora, por favor.
Good evening.
You know...
¡Ay!
Goodbye.
Hola.
I hope you can stay a little longer this time.
Parece que sí que es verdad que parece que la tiene como una niña, ¿no?
Oh, I am sorry, I can't help you, sir. Perhaps you should...
Por el vestidito, digo.
Good evening, Miss Price. I'm Dr. Reed. Do you remember me?
Dr. Reed? Yes, of course. You are the doctor who healed me and my mum.
Dr. Reed.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Good to see you
Y
too.
la otra de fondo,
Are you all right?
salivando,
Oh,
digo.
yes. I did not hurt myself recently. I know how to take care of myself now. I'm almost a grown-up.
El detalle que le han puesto hasta los granos, ¿eh? De la edad, digo.
Why are you awake at night, Carol?
I am helping my mother in her shop. It's not easy, but I'm a grown-up now.
Vale. No, parece que tuviera...
I'm sure your mother
Acné
is grateful
juvenil.
for your help.
I do the best I can. But I'm so clumsy sometimes. I drop things. I injure myself. It's a good thing my mother has the patience of an
La
angel.
otra de fondo.
Why is work not easy? Is something or someone bothering you?
Oh no, most people are gentle with me. But I'm so nervous sometimes. I pay no attention and hurt myself. Good thing my mum learned first aid.
What can you tell me of the people living nearby?
I don't speak to many people, except our customers. It's not easy to make friends. And with the epidemic, it's even more difficult.
Ya.
What can you tell me about the epidemic?
Some of our regular customers have left London. Some others only send their housemaids now. Everybody fears the contagion. I've even seen men with weapons.
Have you no friends at all?
No. Mr. Nithercote used to pass by and was always nice to me.
Does he not come by anymore?
No. Mum said he was weird. Always reciting poetry about a girl he'd met in Whitechapel. I wonder who this camellia may be.
Una salta con el colega.
Do you enjoy working with your mother?
Oh yes, Doctor. My mother raised me alone after my father died. We've always lived together, and she has always watched over me.
Do you remember your father?
No, I was just a baby then. My mother always told me how strong and good he was.
Do you ever think about getting married now you're a woman?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. Mum always says I'm still a child who has no idea how tough life can be. No husband would like a clumsy girl like me.
Oh.
Goodbye, Cap.
Good morning. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
You know...
Carol's gratitude is exemplary. She seems determined never to leave you.
I'm taking care of my daughter as well as I can. It's not always easy, but she's the best gift life gave me.
But she'll probably leave you someday to live her own life. Will that be difficult for you?
Why would she leave? Children sometimes stay with their parents until the end, for they know no one else will love them as much.
Muy bien.
Goodbye.
Dr. Reed.
I am sorry, I can't help you.
Bueno, ¿me queda alguien? Coño, quedan 3. ¿Y dónde carajo están estos 3? Vale, no hay misiones nuevas.
Perhaps you should
Aquí, quizá.
talk to someone else.
Por aquí, quizá. Coño, qué miedo, por Dios. Es un reflejo, pero vamos. Vale, esto es para... Vale, aquí no hay nada. No, pero ¿dónde era? Aquí, vale, aquí no puedo entrar todavía. En esta zona de aquí. Pues de momento creo que es lo único que podemos hacer, ¿eh? No he mirado, lo mismo se puede entrar en la iglesia, aunque dudo que yo pueda entrar, ya que en teoría eso... Vale. Digo, por si había... Es que he visto brillar algo y digo, para mí... Vale. Míralo, ahí están. Están en la zona de abajo. Ah, no. Vale, Vale, esto. El otro está abajo, ¿eh?
Good evening, sir. I am Dr. Jonathan Reed.
¿Gemelo?
Do you need my help?
Yes, please. Would you be kind enough to tell me what the time is?
That's all you need to know.
Well, is it not important to know? As important as where you are? Or who you are?
I suppose you're right. And who are you then, sir?
I am Agamemnon Baker. Like my brother, I think we need to leave this city immediately. And my brother and I rarely agree on anything.
May I ask why you've not gone already, if you're so exasperated by this long wait?
I believe fear is holding us back. My brother would have said it's laziness, but it's just because he's prouder than I am.
May I ask what you're doing outside at this hour of night?
I don't know. You should
Fíjate,
ask
se lo
my
pregunta a
brother
todo el
instead.
mundo, ¿eh?
It was his idea in the first place.
You must have your own ideas.
From what I have managed to understand,
I guess we're supposed to wait here. Waiting for someone to come.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
It's the only place I've considered myself happy. Or at least that's what I believe. Unfortunately, it's time to leave.
Why is that?
Because I'm not feeling happy here anymore. Are you?
What kind of question is that? What am I supposed to answer, exactly?
The truth. And I believe you just did it, actually.
What can you tell me about your brother?
He's older than me, I think. But the important thing is that I really hope I'll die before him. Grief would just kill me, you know?
Is that all?
Pericles is very attached to this city, and without my insistence, he would never leave this place. We don't often agree on anything, you see?
Who are you waiting for, exactly?
The more I think about it, the more I believe it's not exactly a person we are waiting for.
But what else could it be, then?
I don't know. A feeling? An event? An impulse? How can I tell? Something that would allow us to leave this trap.
I'm afraid I'm not following you. What kind of trap are you talking about?
Have you ever felt like life trapped you in a role that does not fit you?
Me suena.
That you are not in your place? That sort of trap.
Trap? And you think leaving London will free you?
At least it will give us the chance to be free. That's more than our present situation. Hope, Doctor. Hope is what truly drives mankind.
Muy bien.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I be of assistance?
Dr. Reed? Dr. Reed?
Is there anything wrong?
No, it's just... your name sounds familiar. And your face. Have we met before?
I think I would remember. So I suppose the answer is no.
That's odd. I'm certain I've already heard of you. My name is Pericles Baker. Does that mean anything to you?
I'm afraid not, sir. But it's a pleasure to meet you anyway.
The pleasure is mine, I guess. I only wish I could remember when it was that we met.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Baker. What are you doing out here in the middle of the night?
We are waiting. Waiting for someone.
And why are you waiting for this person?
Because we need to leave this city. As soon as possible.
Why do you want to leave the city?
I'm not really sure.
¿Veis que cuando la gente está sentada y te está hablando, tiene un movimiento natural, ¿no? Un simple meneillo del cuerpo, ¿no? Como por así decirlo. Pero cuando están de pie, de verdad que resulta bastante poco antinatural.
Can you tell me anything?
La forma en la que se mueven.
As you like asking questions so much, would you allow me to ask you one first?
Please, be my guest.
Do you like this city?
No, no se equivoca.
No, I don't.
No.
I don't recognize it anymore.
So,
Or perhaps I just don't like it anymore, now that I've seen its true face.
I don't recognize it either. Or at least what it's become. Hate, violence, social disparity. And I am not talking about the criminality these days.
And what do you do, sir? For a living, that is.
I stopped working when I decided to leave. When I realized what I wanted. Wanted something this city can't provide.
But what were you doing before you took this decision?
Does it really matter anymore? Considering the past seems so pointless to me. I have lived in this city all my life. And now I think it's over.
Tell me more about why you want to leave London, then.
I just don't belong here anymore. I had to convince my brother to leave London because I know we need to find another life out of the city.
Pericles, tell me why your brother disagrees with your presence here.
Agamemnon is naive sometimes. Although don't consider him a fool, sir. He is often more lucid than me.
At least you both have the same difficulty explaining what you're doing, and for what reason.
But is that not a common problem for all mortals?
What can you tell me about your brother?
If you are searching for a pleasant chat, you should speak with him instead of wasting your time with me. He has always been the more gentle of us.
That's it? That's all you can tell me about him?
For the time being, true kindness is the most valuable quality, my good sir.
muy bien.
Who are you waiting for? I'm sure he has a name.
I really can't answer that question, since I don't know that person.
And why is that?
This person is mostly my brother's acquaintance. I don't even know his real name. Only that this man could help us leave this city once and for all.
But why would you need this person's help to leave London anyway?
Well, I thought we should have left this cursed place already, but my brother convinced me to stay a while longer. And here we are.
Goodbye.
Interesante.
Hello again.
Me encanta que desbloqueando pistas te...
Goodbye.
te den experiencia, tío. Mira, mira toda la que tenemos ya. Voy a bajar otra vez a las catacumbas esas, ¿vale? Porque parece ser que el tipo ese estaba allí. A ver aquí. ¿No? ¿Verdad? No.
Song in the dark, the whispers of a sun. So many signs to interpret.
Los vampiros son peligrosos, letales, brutales a veces. Esto es un hecho innegable y eso es precisamente por lo que debemos comprender lo que son y a veces quiénes son para poder alcanzar una comprensión mutua. Recordar la entrevista de Titus Flavius Josephus, llevada a cabo por uno de nosotros en 1548 cuando por fin encontró la criatura en España. ¿Recordáis cómo cada uno de las exquisitamente elegidas palabras de ese vampiro hacían latir nuestros corazones cada vez que las leíamos? ¿Cómo constituían esas extraordinarias ventanas a un pasado que tan solo vislumbramos fugazmente? Bien, pues Titus Flavius Josephus ya no está. Los cazadores del Vaticano lo destruyeron hace varias semanas y con él se ha desvanecido tesoros valiosos del conocimiento sobre los pilares de nuestra civilización. Probablemente se trata de un crimen tan desgarrador como el asesino de una vida inocente por un vampiro. El asesinato, perdón. Por eso precisamente el camino de la Guardia de Prigwen es tan criminal como estéril, pues por cada una de sus exitosas cacerías metódicas a los antiguos vampiros de Inglaterra, en lugar de aproximarse a ellos con cuidado y respeto, destruyen una parte de nuestras raíces comunes a las de los inmortales. Un punto de vista interesante. Desaprovechan a oportunidad tras oportunidad. El concepto de la gran cacería es un crimen, pues ciegamente destruyen palabras y pensamientos. ¿Y este quién es? Este me va a reconocer, ¿no? ¿Va a saber que soy un vampiro o qué?
Jonathan Reed. At last we meet.
Vaya.
The cards warned me you would visit tonight.
I beg your pardon, sir. Do I know you?
Of course you do. Our mutual friend, Dr. Swansea, can't speak highly enough of you. My name is Usher.
Coño, que es el
Usher
líder.
Talltree.
You are the leader of the Brotherhood, are you not?
Primate of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole, to be precise.
No me lo esperaba aquí abajo, la verdad.
I'm really glad we met tonight. I love it when the cards tell me a truth.
The cards told you to expect me.
Yes, they tell me everything. They told me that you struggle hard not to take too many lives.
Interesante, ¿eh? Too many lives, o sea, si no contamos a la Guardia de Prigwen, a todos los que he matado de la Guardia de Prigwen, apenas he matado gente. Bueno, ni los Skull ni los vampiros.
Can you read the cards for me?
Are you sure you want to know what they will reveal?
Yes, I am.
It will cost you 150 shillings.
Lucu. Pensaba que éramos colegas.
Here is the money.
The snake, a bitter woman, smiling as she pours poison in your cup. A shaming betrayal. Hate.
¿Venus? ¿Por qué? Hostia, no me digas que así puedo encontrar pistas de los que me faltan.
What can you tell me about the neighborhood?
I really don't know. I don't often go outside. And when I do, it's usually to quite distant destinations.
So you see nothing in the stars for me? You're a poor fortune teller then.
Oh, I can tell you many things. But they will only concern you, not the city. For example, I know that you offered your sister the final rest she asked for.
Loco, qué miedo me da este tío.
Do the cards speak of my Mary?
No. It's the burning aura of guilt. that precedes you everywhere you go.
Read my fortune, then.
You have been chosen, Jonathan. I see on you the mark of a strong being, so powerful it needn't even reveal its strength.
Tell me about yourself. What do you do here, besides turning cards in the middle of the night?
I'm for most a charlatan. For a few, I'm a vampire. And for you, I'm the primate of St. Paul's Stole.
¿Qué vampiro de verdad?
Some believe you to be a vampire. Who?
The guard of Priwen, who else? For a time, they sent spies to observe my activities, and they even broke into my home to gather proof.
Did they steal anything from you?
A personal notebook they quickly took to their headquarters. All they had to do is to look at me. I'm aging. What better and definite proof that I'm not an immortal?
Do you want your notebook back?
If you ever find it, I'd be glad to have it back, of course. I do ask one thing, though. Do not read it, Jonathan. Some secrets are not meant to be revealed, even to immortals.
Interesante.
For how long have you been a primate?
It was 15 years last year.
What do you make of Dr. Swansea?
Edgar is a brilliant and dedicated man. A man of his time, sometimes a little muddled, but always looking for new paths and new concepts.
Entonces, si...
Can you read the...
Put the money on the table.
Here.
The Joker. A woman bent to obey and debase herself. A cruel gaze in the dark. A monster laughing at you.
Hostia, mira, pues esta me interesa, ¿eh? Lo que pasa que es que no puedo... No puedo gastar más dinero, tío.
How do you measure the amount of blood on my hands?
I told you. The cards always tell the truth. Well, most of the time.
Is it possible to tell me my future?
A vampire's fate is much more delicate to read, Doctor. But I can try.
All right. Let me hear it.
The walls of your prison have already been raised, Jonathan. But you will freely accept to be locked inside, full of hope for a better day.
I would rather... How did you learn about Mary? And spare me the hocus-pocus parlor tricks. The truth, now!
Swansea told me. Don't look at me like that. His task is to observe and gather information about vampires. He had to tell me about Mary.
Mary did not deserve her fate. She had already suffered enough during her life. And yet the pain and the suffering went on after her death.
Suffering is part of the immortal condition. Some prefer to lose their minds rather than face the simple truth. Pain will never stop.
How do you...
I told you.
Is it
Vampire...
May I ask you about the brother?
Of course. But I must warn you that there are some subjects we consider taboo, in spite of our fondness and acceptance of your kind.
I know there is no love lost between the Guard of Priwen and the Brotherhood. What caused this rift?
It was 1801. The Brotherhood was stronger then, a strength that made them hungry for ever greater power. An argument divided them, and the wound never healed.
What was the nature of the disagreement?
The problem was that both sides considered themselves the legitimate heirs of the original Brotherhood. We divide up the books, the relics, not always fairly or with consideration.
Who founded the Brotherhood?
That's precisely the kind of question I cannot answer. It is delicate and may reveal some of our secret traditions.
So you're not just a club of academics and scholars?
Once upon a time, very long ago, the Brotherhood did more than simply study the vampires. They took actions to eliminate the more ferocious and corrupted.
Interesante. Nivel 5 me parece poco para este tío.
I told you.
Is it
Vampire...
Or
walls...
Goodbye.
I rarely wander. Yet it... The Red River, a song
estará
in the
cerrado,
dark,
¿no?
the
Obviamente.
whispers of a sun. So many signs.
Estoy más sala, oye. Vamos a hacer su misión. Si puedo, vamos. Venga, lo vamos a intentar. Y así dejamos este vídeo. Esto tiene que ser. Sí. Tiene que abrirse de algún modo. No sé cómo, pero se abrirá de algún modo. Voy a hablar con la Corina esta por ver que me ha desbloqueado su pista. Porque me interesa, me intriga. De hecho, lo iba a comentar antes, ¿no? Que me intriga lo del tema suyo. Sí, muerto, ¿no? Tendría que haber una forma de llegar a... Pero bueno, de comunicarme por estas dos zonas. Pero que va, tío. Hay que pasar por aquí en medio, sí o sí. No, no es por ahí, compañero. Vale, este estaba detrás del callejón. En el callejón detrás del otro, ¿no? Del Clarence, si no me equivoco. Y ya que estoy, debería de hablar con la mujer también, ¿eh?
Women's right to vote is only the first step.
Let your guard down.
Aquí. Pensaba que me darían más detalles. Me desbloquea las pistas solamente. Está bien, pero no es lo que yo quería, la verdad. ¿Dónde estaba la casa? Voy a ir por aquí, ¿eh? Me parece... Creo que es mejor ir por aquí que por aquí de frente. Bueno, por aquí de frente hay bichos muy tochos. Era donde lo de Emily. Era, si no me equivoco, aquí detrás. ¿No? Bueno, no, es justo aquí, joder. ¿Verdad? ¿Esta es? Esta es.
Hello, Venus.
Hello. You know that you are always welcome here. What
Did Clarence recently show you documents that prove the existence of vampires?
Yes, he did. And he also told me you spent a few nights gathering research for him. Seriously, Jonathan. Why feed his obsession like that?
He's my friend. I thought it might help him rest, instead of going outside at night. Tell me, what are your thoughts about vampires?
Gibberish and poppycock. Dracula was a good book, but these documents were just mumbo-jumbo. I burnt them all as soon as Clarence went outside again.
Oh, muy bien. What?
Why are you poisoning your husband?
He has spent a fortune printing his bloody papers. I can't stand this nightmare anymore. We are the butt of everyone's jokes since he returned.
If you're so frustrated by Clarence's behavior, why don't you just leave him?
I have already lost the best years of my life because of him. I will not jeopardize my future for some lunatic. He goes, and I inherit what's left.
Qué bien.
I was the best man at your wedding. I remember your love for him. It was so beautiful. I cried. And now you've killed him.
Don't try to send a shiver down my spine, Dr. Reed. You were always on your own, and you kept emotions at bay. All for facts, remember? Well, deal with this one.
Qué zorrano.
What do you think about Clarence squandering his fortune on his obsession?
Soon we'll be poor, and forced to sell the house. Where will we go? In which filthy, infected part of town will we end up? I'm so afraid.
Muy bien.
Remember when Mary came here with her husband and her son?
Sí, sí, ahora está la simpática. Le puedo decir a este. Es que eso seguramente lo leí en el diario y no me di cuenta. Pero vamos.
Good evening.
I won't.
Venus is poisoning you, Clarence. She wants you dead.
So she really hates me that much now. My poor wife. I had no idea my research would drive her to such extremes.
I'm sorry, Clarence.
Why would you tell me that? First you returned from the dead, and now you tell me my wife is trying to murder me.
You're a stupid bastard, but you're my friend, Clarence. And I don't have many left. I don't want you to die. Not like that.
But I love her. I love my wife. Did I make her suffer that much? Have I become such a burden?
So you have no suspicions about her at all? Nothing in Venus's behavior has seemed odd since you returned?
Frankly, it's my behavior that's been odd. Ever since I got back from the war, she accuses me of being paranoid and delusional.
You need...
No sé si volver, que me da mucha pereza. O voy ya. Bueno, ya volveremos. Por aquí. Entonces, yo es que pensaba que las pistas que te desbloqueaba el otro también te desbloqueaban diálogos, pero si es un modo fácil de conseguir experiencia, es decir, cambias experiencia, o sea, cambias dinero por experiencia sin llegar al kit de la cuestión, pues me da un poco más de pereza, la verdad. Vale, yo asumo que será aquí, ¿no? Por aquí. Tengo una fiesta aquí, ¿eh? Nada. Son 3 puntos de experiencia, tío. Me cuenta que solo he matado a ese. O los otros que eran de nivel muy bajo y no me han dado nada, también puede ser. Venga. Ojo, coño. Sí, tiene que ser aquí, que os acordáis que también había 2 tipos hablando. Ya no, ya. Me dijo que no leyera el diario, así que asumo que tengo esa opción.
See them fancy clothes?
Me ha dado, No hacía falta, pero bueno. Por aquí. No. Ni siquiera es por aquí. Ah, y aquí vine. Pero no había nada.
There's an open window on the 2nd floor.
Vaya.
I should be able to get in through that.
Qué conveniente.
I will return later.
¿Cómo que en otro... ¿Qué dice en otro momento? Ah, es verdad, estaba cerrado esto.
It's locked, all right.
What? ¿No has dicho que había una ventana abierta, loco? A mí no me líes, ¿eh? No entiendo. ser esto, pero... Ah, coño. Vale, segundo piso. Interesante. No me jodas. Ah. Pues no sabía que era el mismo sitio, sinceramente. No me... O sea... No eché cuenta. No eché cuenta de que era... ¿Cómo es que esto está aquí? ¿Cuánto llevo? Es que es... Como no me quiero liar con la misión de campaña... Sí. Lo vamos a dejar ya. Porque sí, porque no esperaba yo llegar hasta aquí, la verdad. Nota de suicidio. Espérate, vamos a leer esto un momentito. Ya no soporto el dolor. Es como si todo mi cuerpo se estuviese haciendo pedazos. Y todo porque esa mala pécora me infectó. Lleva días escondido en su camerino, dándonos órdenes a través de pequeñas notas y solo ensaya por la noche. He visto uno de esos ensayos. Se limita a caminar por el escenario, enfurecida, llena de odio, gimoteando sobre su belleza deteriorada. Esa arpía está enferma, completamente corrompida y tiene intención de infectar a todos los demás, a toda la ciudad. Su próxima función será en diciembre, pero para entonces todos los empleados del teatro nos habremos convertido en sus obedientes esbirros, obligados a servir sus planes maquiavélicos. Voy a estornudar. Ya. Seguramente haya encontrado la forma de envenenar la comida o el agua. Todos empezamos a sentirnos mal tras la comida que organizó el lunes pasado. Le pondré un poco de su sangre o algo. A la persona que encuentre esta nota, quiero que sepas que me he suicidado ahora para escapar del infierno en el que se había convertido este lugar. Que Dios se apede de mí, de mi alma inmortal. Ajá. Me niego a ser cómplice de esta perversión. Interesante. Bueno, pues lo dicho, lo vamos a dejar por aquí, ¿vale? Porque, coño, pues estamos en un sitio bastante jugosón y esto se puede alargar. Y ya está, ¿vale? Quería haber completado esa misión y luego centrarnos en la campaña, pero ya estáis viendo que no nos dejan. Así que nada, lo dejamos por aquí. Espero que os haya gustado el vídeo. Un saludo a todos, muchas gracias y nos vemos en el próximo.